Good morning. We're going to go ahead and get started. And just a few reminders. There is a sign-in sheet. I need everyone to sign in, please. And then handouts on the table and additional handouts going around. So please make sure you get everything as well as food. Because that would be best for me if you guys ate all the food. No. So good morning, I'm Celeste Roberts, and I am the chair of the School Health Advisory Council. And I was in a meeting yesterday where Dr. Hell advised that we always get our meetings started on time. So I apologize, Dr. Hell, we're about 3 minutes late. But we're going to kind of bounce around on the agenda just a bit, but I do want to hand it over right now to Dr. Hess, our superintendent, to give us our welcome for our first meeting of the year, because of course, being a busy man, he is double booked and he's got to run to a meeting after this. So Dr. Hell.
Well, thanks everybody for being here and serving and helping out with what's going on in the district. As Ms. Roberts just kind of mentioned, actually it ties in, as you guys know, with health, because safety and security all kind of go together in different ways, and our students' health and safety obviously go together. So we're actually having another meeting with the sheriff about school safety next. So it kind of blends, but it kind of gets a little chaotic at times doing that. So we appreciate what you do here. As some of you guys have been around or connected to the district maybe your entire life, and some of you maybe not as far, so or as long, but whether it's just the growing or whether it's the things that we have to face that's changing, you know, this committee and your input are really valuable. And it's kind of sad that sometimes the things that we have to always meet on always have this implication of danger. You know, safety always has an implication of danger. And unfortunately, sometimes student health kind of has that as well. Like, for example, when we have to talk about crises like fentanyl and things like that. But there are positives to it too. And the more connected that we are with you guys, and that you're connected to be able to tell things that it's to your own kids or other families, it really makes an impact for all of us, honestly. And I can honestly tell you selfishly that one of the things that's really I don't know if perk is the right word, but we'll call it a perk, is that being connected to schools, sometimes you hear about something, whether it's nationally or locally, kind of before it gets out into the media. And that's an advantage, not so much that you can control life, but at least you have it on your radar. And so I kind of view committees like this the same way. It's not always fun to have committee meetings, honestly, but sometimes you get to hear and see some things that can really make a difference, not only with your own family's life, but your community and other people's lives. So, you know, being here and being a part of this really is important to us. And as you guys probably figured out, by the advent of such things as Sonic, which is kind of our punchline around here, is the explosion, so to speak, literally, that Sonic brings, whether it's population or people's opinion about having a Route 44 available. You know, we are on the cusp of a lot of growth. And so not only do we have to kind of look at how things are today, but we're also trying to figure out what are these things going to look like when we add 200 new students, when we add 400 new students. And some of them may come from a background very different than who we are right now. Whether that's out of state or done any traveling, you can go about 400 miles and people can have a real different view than where you come from. And so everything that you do really does matter. And so I appreciate you guys.
Thank you, Dr.
Anything else I can offer to you?
No, but I can offer you
A kolache and a donut.
Yeah, thanks for that.
Thank you so much, Dr. Howell. Appreciate it.
The nice thing about our first meeting of the year is that we have traditionally started having a welcome, of course, by Dr. Hell. And then I always like for it, because it seems that our first meeting is always the most highly attended meeting, which is really exciting. And so I like to go through member introductions, and that way we all get to know each other at the start of the year, because we do have some what I call old members. You're not old, but you've been around, and we have some new ones this year. But I'll start, and then I'll hand it over to Stephanie, and then if y'all don't mind going around and introducing yourself. And then if you could say, you know, if you're an employee or staff, you know, what you do in the district, if you have any kids that are in the district, as well as if you're a parent and that type of thing, or if you're one of our community stakeholders. So, but again, I am Celeste Roberts, and so I have sort of two roles today. I am the chair of the SHAC committee, and I'm also the district lead nurse. I've been a nurse for, and it's gonna make me very, very old. I've been a nurse for about 33 years now. And I've been in school nursing for about 18 years. So I feel like I've seen it all. So it's given me a lot of good memories and good experiences for the road. And I've been here at New Waverly for starting my 5th year. We do have one son who's 14 going on, you know, 30 something, and he's a freshman at the high school. So, but again, welcome to you guys, and then I'll hand it over to
Okay. I'm Stephanie Brock. I'm the director of curriculum, and I work with Celeste doing the SHAC committee, and she does an outstanding job of keeping all of this organized and keeping up with all the mandates. So I'm glad that I get to work with her on that. I'm from New Waverly. I have 2 daughters. One's at A&M and one is a sophomore. And I appreciate you guys being here.
Coach Miller, I do elementary PE, in the high school athletics, do football and head boys track. 2 daughters, one of them goes to elementary school, the other one still young, for benefit for everybody. But yeah, so track, football, elementary PE.
Dean Child, I'm at the high school. I've had 3 sons, all graduated from the way.
Nathan Pope at the junior high, 50 history coach, and I have 3 kids in the district currently, 1 who graduated.
My name is Christine Hamilton. I work for the Department of State Health Services. I'm in the North Coast Walker County, and I do have kids, but they go to Huntsville.
And that's for public health management, Texas Department of State Health Services. I've been there a little longer than Celeste, 35 years, over 35 years. This role, I've been in there 5 years. Love working with the community. I'm Crystal Blanco. I work for Tri-County, school-based team lead, for the Huntsville ISD school district. I provide therapy and supervision to the skills trainers that are at Huntsville ISD. I'm standing in for Michelle Lyson, she's the administrator of the law.
Joel Brennan, nutrition, have 2 grandsons in high school. Bring y'all in the back.
I'm Erin Cabarrother, this is my husband, Chris. We're both nurses. I'm a nurse at Methodist in the Woodlands, and he works for a devoted health insurance company. We have a kindergartner at really, we know Miss Roberts, she was our professor at Sam Houston, and so that's kind of how we've gotten to so yes,
I
yes.
feel really, really old.
10 years ago, yes, 10 years, why, so.
Yes.
Yeah, we're excited.
Shane, you see, junior high volleyball and each other very science.
Candace Reynolds, I'm the elementary counselor, and I have 2 kids in district, one at the junior high and one at the middle.
Nurse and pastor, I have 2 daughters, 2 grandbabies, and 2 on the way. I'm David Glick, I'm at the junior high, teach reasoning class in RTI, and I have 5 kids. 2 graduated before you, and 2 graduated, my babies at 25.
I'm Angela Buckner. I grew up in New England and I've got 2 boys, Abilene, a sophomore and an 8th grader.
Megan Thompson, we lived here 6 years. I work at St. Houston, and we have 2 boys, Jackson, 9th grade, and Jason.
I'm Nicole Lewis. I have 2 kids in the district. Bailey is a senior this year, and Eugene is a freshman, and we are the doctors here.
National Bransky, for grade 11 science.
I'm Jessica Taylor. I have 2 sophomores and 1 freshman. Also, the youth bookstore in high school. And we do
I'm Christy Keaton, I work for Texas A&M, and I like extension for H. And I do have 2 kids.
I'm just walking on, you know.
Let's be that right. I'm a biology here at the high school.
I am a grandmother, I got a 1-year-old grandson.
You guys in the back?
I've been Lee McMurray, I'm the Director of Student Services. And I have been in Pittsburgh.
Steve Chipwood, I'm a deputy constable contractor with the school district. I'm stationed at the high school that got 1 daughter who graduated.
You already know me, I already said my stuff. I do have 4 boys in the district, senior, sophomore, 8th grader, 3rd grader. And so it's wonderful at our house. I'm like 5 times yelling no for no reason. Or stop, you know, that's no and stop. But this is my 21st year with New England and 36th year overall. So I probably get the award for longest.
All right, thank you guys so much. I appreciate that. I always enjoy getting to know you guys a little bit more on a personal level with your backgrounds. So we'll go ahead and get the meeting started. If you have the handout for the minutes, we're going to approve the May minutes. So of course, this is May of last year. For those of you who were with us last year, that was our last meeting of the year. So the minutes, need to be approved so that they can be posted. If you'll, I'm gonna give you about a minute or so, especially for the new ones, to look over it real quick. And then we'll move on. Read the minutes or look over it. Thankfully, last meeting, it was just 1 page. All right, if I could get a motion, first motion to approve the minutes. And a second. Any amendments, edits, any sort to the minutes? All right, so the minutes have been approved. Thank you. And again, for the new folks that are here today, this is our pretty standard opening for our meetings. We will always have minutes that we have to approve from the meeting before. And then you'll always get a copy of that. So, And again, for the first meeting, I always like to give a review of what SHAC is. Give you guys a definition of it. For those of you, again, who've been with us for a while, this will be a review for you. For the new members, just to give you a little background on what SHAC is. And you'll see on your agenda as well that I have put some bullet points about what SHAC is. So SHAC is our School Health Advisory Council, and it is a group of you guys comprised of parents, community stakeholders, students, and New Waverly ISD staff. And of course, we're all working together to improve the health of all of our students and families. We'll talk about the coordinated school health programs in just a minute, but we also are a group that assists the district in ensuring that the local community values are reflected in your recommendations for district health, either education or curriculum that is reviewed in our group. We serve in an advisory capacity only, so we don't necessarily have what I would call voting rights, but we serve in an advisory capacity to our school board. And our school board really does listen to SHAC and SHAC's recommendations. So, but we do not have any legal responsibilities within the school system. So again, just in an advisory capacity. We do make recommendations, and I'll go over that during my year-end review of what we did last year, but we do make recommendations on health curriculum, on health education. So really we value your opinions, your points, anything that you want to bring to the table, we do hear that. So the SHAC guide, which you should have gotten a copy of, and I actually added, for those of you again who are familiar with this, I added one additional page to this from last year. But this manual is actually 52 pages long. So of course I did not print all 52 pages. But if you so choose and have leisure time, I have put the website for the manual. It is on the DSHS website. But again, it is a 52-page manual, but I picked out the high points for you. The majority of our members must be parents of students enrolled in the district and not necessarily parents employed by the district, if that makes sense. That's part of SHAC bylaws. So I'm really, really excited this year to have an increased parent involvement who are not, I love the ones who are already parents, such as myself and Ms. Brock, but again, we value you guys as well. So we are required to meet at least 4 times during the school year, and each meeting is an hour long. And each meeting, we are required to either audio or video record it, and we do that here in the district by Zoom. So if you are unable to attend in person, you will always receive a link from me prior to the meeting so that you can join the meeting. So, and if I meant to tell you this earlier, and for those that are on Zoom, if there are handouts that I'm unable to send electronically, let me know and I can get those handouts to you. The meeting notices, minutes, and recordings will be posted on the district website. So after today, you'll see those on the website. They are actually under, when you go to the website, you have to go under parent resources, and then under parent resources, you'll see health services. And so as you kind of click through that, you'll come up on the SHAC section. So why do we need SHAC? So the state requires that every public school have a SHAC committee. They're required to have a SHAC committee. And we know, I mean, I'm a nurse, we have nurses in this room, that when you are healthy, especially children, you tend to learn better. So you tend to be more focused on what needs to be done. So healthy children learn better. And we also know that schools play an important role in that. For example, in teaching healthy habits, we do that again through health education, through health curriculum. And some examples that New Waverly ISD has participated in is at the elementary campus, we have done hand washing presentations. We've done dental presentations. At the high school and the junior high, we have health and safety summits. So there's a lot of things that are going around on different campuses related to health that SHAC helps to support. Healthy schools and healthy homes help to support healthy children. So that's why it's so important to have a majority of parents and community stakeholders on our committee, because parents and family, because we know that you guys, the representation on SHAC is important because you're vested in the district because of your child or your children. You will see this on, hopefully you got this separate handout, but this should be on your agenda as well. I blew this up because on the agenda, it's kind of hard to read all of the little words in the wheel. But what this is the CDC model for the whole school, whole community, whole child model. And that's wrapped into this coordinated school health program that we use. We review the SHAC's role in the district using that model. And we always say, again, healthier students learn better. The model initially on your agenda consisted of 8 components, but now they've expanded that to 10. But if you see the 8 components versus the 10, the newly updated, they're pretty much the same. I think what they did was they took a couple of the 8 components and broke them down to make 10, so to make them more specific. Just so you know, the 8 or 10 components, that is our reporting structure for how we ensure optimal health. And that's our reporting structure for our SHAC meetings. So you will see, based on these 10 components, that we will focus on those areas when we are in our meeting. And what I'd like to do, because I've gotten a little bit fancier as the years have gone by with SHAC, is that I'm going to show you guys a video. So a little bit of CDC.
Help communities improve health and learning for youth ages 13 to 18. CDC's Division of Adolescent and School Health, or DASH, supports many components of the whole school, whole community, whole child model, also called WISC. Health education. The health and safety of adolescents is improved when they acquire the knowledge, attitudes, and skills for making healthy decisions, adopting healthy behaviors, and promoting the health of others. Health services. Youth are generally healthy, but they can be healthier and more supported if preventive health services are available in their schools. Services can include STD and HIV testing, counseling, health education, and referrals to other teen-friendly health services. Counseling, psychological, and social services. Youth feel safer and more supported when they have access to services that reinforce their mental, psychological, social, and emotional health. Social and emotional climate. Schools that foster safe and supportive environments develop students who feel more connected to their schools, are stronger academically, and engage in fewer risky behaviors. Family engagement. It's important for parents to participate in their students' school life by supporting health services and education programs. Family engagement protects students and leads to better academic and health outcomes. Community involvement. Youth are more engaged and motivated when they work on projects that benefit their local communities. These projects can help youth develop academic skills and healthy behaviors. Coordinating policy, process, and practice. Student health and academic performance improve when there are coordinated school policies, processes, and practices. Enhanced coordination between students, parents, schools, and communities helps move the WISC model into action. DASH supports the model by funding school-based HIV and STD prevention, developing research and program tools, monitoring health behaviors, policies, and practices, and creating partnerships and communication resources. The 6 highlighted components are one way DASH upholds its mission. The coordination ring is a key to everyone making the model actionable. These 4 components are also important. CDC and other national organizations assist schools in implementing them. The WISC model, when implemented across schools, families, and communities, can greatly improve health outcomes and academic performance for all youth. The complete WISC model and definitions for all components can be found on the WISC webpage.
Okay, I really liked that video because it really defined each of the components for you guys. And I know a lot of it is pretty straightforward, but I just wanted you guys to see that how it encompasses all of what SHAC does. So you guys, your role is really, really important to not only Ms. Brock and I, but to the district, to your students, or to our students, to your children, and to our staff. So thank you for bearing with me and watching that video. So I hope that that's helpful. Of course, one of the purposes and goals of SHAC for the new school year is increased parent and community stakeholder involvement. The primary goal of focusing in SHAC is focusing on the recruitment of parents who are not district employees, because that is a state requirement. The state actually does require for a parent to be the preferred member to serve as the SHAC chair. So I'm just going to throw it out there. By the end of this year, if any of you parents are willing to take on that role, I will be your co-chair. Ms. Brock will support us as well. So if you think about it and think this might be something you'd be interested in, we'd love to have you come on board. So please think about it. Okay, we're going to start the presentations for today. And these are presentations that a couple of them we give every year. So again, review maybe for some of you old timers, but new for the new members. But it's always good to get a review, I think, and sometimes things change a bit. So Ms. Gregory is our Director of Child Nutrition Services. She has a handout. Hopefully you got that. And she's going to come talk to you guys about there are specific federal guidelines for the National School Lunch Program and the School Breakfast Program. And they're pretty tight. When I first got into school nursing, I had no idea how that worked. And when I was in another district, I talked to the cafeteria manager at the campus I was the school nurse for, and it just shocked me what stipulations they are under. So it's fascinating, you know, so they do have a lot of rules they have to abide by when they're serving food to our children. So do you mind coming up to the podium just because of the ones on Zoom? Thank you.
We operate under the National School Lunch Program, School Breakfast Program. I'm not gonna read all of this. We're offer versus serve. Under the lunch program, they have to choose 3 out of the 5 components, and we do have to offer. School breakfast, they have to choose 3 out of the 4 components. Sausage, eggs, that's considered a good. We follow a lot of USDA guidelines. We have to go by specific standards on our calories, sodium, fat content. Our juices must be 100%. After school snacks, there's the deal. They have to choose 2. The grain and the juices are breaking. It goes in the that's pretty much the most.
So one of the things that Miss Gregory, she does a great job on is getting our students to participate in the like breakfast in the school lunch program. But if any of you as like SHAC members, if you have ideas of how we can increase participation, those ideas are welcomed. Also, like getting our students that could qualify for free and reduced lunch and to participate in that. If you have ideas on how we can increase that participation, we welcome those ideas. In order to participate, they do have to fill out a lunch application and meet the qualifications. It's based on income. And Ms. Gregory goes through the approval process and communicates. We send letters home, we call, we do all kinds of things trying to get people to fill out the lunch applications. And even if they don't qualify or don't think that they would qualify, we would like to encourage everybody to fill one out just in case, because the guidelines do change every year. And their situation can change from year to year too. And while they think they may not qualify, it's very possible, even if it's not free, it could be reduced. And not only does that help the families and the students, it also helps the school in a way, because that's how we get a lot of our federal funding. And it's based upon the numbers of participation in those programs. So while it does seem like, oh, well, they don't want to fill it out, it's not a big deal. If it's going to benefit the families and it can also benefit us, we want to educate parents, educate our community, and get them to fill out those applications so that we can both benefit from that. Yes, and Ms. Gregory does an outstanding job of coordinating that and contacting parents and school counselors, the PEMS coordinators. We all work together to do that. But any other ideas, if you have those, think about it, let us know. Yeah.
Gregory, could you also let them know about the new salad barn?
No, we just started, salad bar at the high school and junior high. That can be one of their choices too. They just go through, they pick up a box of their salad and whatever else they choose on. Then they go to the salad bar and just.
And you spoke about it, maybe a potato bar at some point.
Yeah, we'll try to do one, maybe a potato bar, maybe one with the pasta bar. They did pretty good yesterday, the junior high school. Now we're 30.
Oh, that's good.
Oh, that is good.
Surprise.
I've actually had a lot of students tell me the food is good in the cafeteria. I think one of the most popular items is the orange chicken. Is that still one of the most
Burgers and pizza.
burgers?
They could be.
Yeah.
That's my son. He can eat pizza 3 days. And Casey Chitwood was going to present his sort of annual back to school review of the traffic patterns for arrival and dismissal and then campus safety, but he is spread thin today, policing others. So we're gonna have him come back at the next meeting and give us an overview. So and I'm gonna hand it over to Ms. Brock, and she's gonna talk to you about a new program called T-Chat.
Okay, so one of the components of like our students' overall well-being is their mental health. And one of the exciting things that we have entered into is into a partnership with the Baylor College of Medicine and the state of Texas. They have funded a program that is called T-Chat. It stands for Texas Child Health Access through Telemedicine. So that's a lot of words, but basically that will provide our students with free counseling services, short-term counseling services while they're at school. We have a great team of great counselors at each school. You can only imagine with the
jobs and the task that they are given on a daily basis, trying to meet the many needs of all the varied students and the things that they need and to meet those students' needs. So this is just a way that students that may need something additional, that they can receive some brief interventions through this. Our counselors would coordinate it. They do have to have parent permissions. They would be in contact. There's a whole process. We haven't actually gone through the training yet. That's next week. But it is a service that we will be able to provide our students. It's usually about 5 sessions that they would meet with the counselor. It is, it is Zoom or, telemedicine. And if the student needs, if it's determined that they need additional services, then they will help families connect with other providers that meet their needs, meet their insurance needs, if they don't have insurance in the area, whatever the needs of the families are. So we're really excited about this program. It's brand new to us. I know other districts have used it and have seen good results and feel like it's something that can help students and support their needs. Some of the reasons why a student could be referred to this, I'm just going to read some of them. Anxiety, difficulty concentrating, low mood, sleeping difficulties, increased aggression, isolation, self-harm or suicidal thoughts, bullying, victimization, life stressors, relationship problems, and grief and loss. So if we have those students on our campuses that need a little bit more, then our counselors will be able to refer, admin will be able to visit with our counselors, and they will be able to give those students some additional support. So does anybody have questions about that? Well, as we go through the training next week and we learn more, I will follow back up and let you know how it's going. And I would like for SHAC to get like updated reports on like maybe how many students are referred, how many students are using the services, get feedback, because the contacts at the Baylor College of Medicine, like they will be in contact with me. We will have meetings, we will get updates and talk about, what type of services, what type of counseling services are we seeing? Are we seeing students that are needing additional support outside of that? And so we will all be in the team that is the TCHAT team. That's what we're going to be called. I just came up with that. That's what I like that TCHAT team. Then we will all discuss that, but I'll let you guys know how that's all going at the next meeting. Ms. Roberts, did you want me to talk about that?
If you want,
So you don't have to give it.
no. Sure. So I asked Ms. Frog to give us a presentation on, or a report on a few things that are happening, around the district.
Okay, so October is a busy month, so Red Ribbon Week, we have some teachers that are dressed up, they have their backwards clothes inside out and their camo stuff, so all of our students are participating in that and getting many lessons on, drug prevention and awareness, and which is super important. October is also Fentanyl Awareness Month. That is included in the Red Ribbon Week and drug awareness. We will be sure that we have some information about fentanyl that is posted on our website that parents have access to, and to get that. Also, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month. I know around the district, several different things have been done. We've recognized Ms. O'Hagan at volleyball games and pep rallies and more and for that. So while those things may not seem super impactful, it's just an awareness, and it's something that our students need to be aware of and show support and to learn about. Another thing that has taken place that Ms. Roberts and I have done is updating board policy. So we have updated our policy, and you guys had some conversations about that, is like Narcan. So we have updated the policy to where Narcan is available on all campuses. So it's only required legally to be like grades 6 through 12. 6 through 12. But as a district, we decided that we wanted it to be on all campuses, so that policy was approved. And also we updated our board policy to reflect our current practices that are happening in our clinics, and that is for our unassigned EpiPens in case of an allergic reaction. So each campus does have unassigned EpiPens available Our staff have been trained on both Narcan and the use of the EpiPens, and they have access to those. So there's always something going on at a school. It's not, kids don't just come to school, teachers just don't come and teach. They do all kinds of different supplemental lessons and, to take care of our students. So we appreciate all that they do. And I cannot say enough about how much I appreciate Ms. Roberts and how much thought and how detailed she is in making sure that we're doing everything that we need to do for our students. Does anybody have any questions for me?
I have something, the presentation that we displayed last year at Technology, is that still on the website?
Yes.
Oh, I heard it. If you haven't watched it, I highly recommend it. It's a really, really good.
And if it's not, if you can't find it, let me know and we can definitely share it out again, but it should not have been taken down. Okay. Thank you for sharing that. All right. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Farrar. And to circle back to the updated board policies and our student handbooks, those are on the district website as well. So for instance, if you have a student at the junior high campus, you'll just click on the junior high handbook. And I'll tell you what page that was on, but it's kind of, my mind's blank.
Mine
right
too,
now.
I don't remember.
Page, but it's, you know, the handbook's pretty lengthy, but if that's again, something that you would like to look over, please do so. Okay, so Kim Gaspard and Christina Hamilton are go-to people at the Walker County Department of State Health Services. And again, if you're old school like me, it's the public health department. So they do a wide variety of, provide a wide variety of resources for Walker County. And of course, New Waverly is in Walker County. And we align a lot. Health services here in New Waverly aligns a lot with their office because they help us tremendously with things like immunizations, teen pregnancy literature, cars, but I'm going to let them talk to you about all the services they provide. So.
Hi, I'm Kim Gaspard, Christina Hamilton. You wanna talk? Yeah. So we have, in Huntsville, first of all, I was gonna say, we do immunizations and lately, I don't know if y'all know, Kentucky Seabold Clinic has stopped doing, any Medicaid, self-pay and no insurance. They will not take anyone. It's the old, Huntsville Pediatric right by the hospital. And then, so we're getting all the babies, all the baby, everything, and then Genesis as well. I don't know what happened with them. They're still at the doctor's office. I think it's Dr. Young, Dr. McKeever. And they also can't do CDFC and ASN.
They're working on getting it back, but in the meantime, we're at, you know, if you're trying to go there.
And we do Medicaid and no insurance, at the clinic. Also, we do car seats at the clinic. We have car seats for, little ones. We have car seat boosters. We have the ones with no harness and the ones with the harness. And in order for a child to not be in a booster, they'd be 4'9", between 8 and 12, usually, I would think when they're up to 12, they're usually out of a booster by then. They can correctly with the adult lap and the shoulder seat belt, and children 13 should ride in the back, when possible. I do a class at the clinic, also a presentation, that I've also made and I go different places, and, it's just safety for, children, and I see it every single day, people come bring their cars in, and there's just things that you don't know about car seats, the way they're supposed to be installed correctly, and, we had to take a 3-day course in College Station at the AgriLife, and I didn't know there were deep that car seat that entailed. There were like three days, 12-hour days, and doing
car seats, and it's just, there's just a lot to it. For the safety for our children.
We will do car seat safety checks. For those who aren't sure if their car seats in correctly. If you see, if you're in the car rider line, I don't know, teachers, if you see that you think they may need a booster, they can get one from us. You think, or if they've outgrown their car seat. We are here to help those who can't afford it, to get one, we'll help them with that.
And on the side of the car seat, if you don't know, that it tells you the weight, the height, and also the car seats do expire. So they're, I believe it's every 15 years, it depends on the car seat. So at the clinic, we don't have the base, the ones that pull out, the lockdown base, we have vertical. And on that sheet, that I gave y'all, it just tells you all the criteria for, forward facing, vision seat belt, rear facing. And a lot of parents like turn their kids around before they turn 2 years old, and technically it's against the law, because,
They're safer.
They're safer when they're turned around. A lot of parents do it because
They want to see the child.
that and their legs, sometimes the kids are taller and their feet are all punched up. That's so, you know. But, that's what we do at the clinic, and then they can tell you about the.
Okay, so, I do a Mommy Are You Ready class, and I know that doesn't pertain too much to, students. We do have a couple, and, I do the nutritional classes, the, taking care of baby, postpartum, and labor and delivery. So four classes. But in there, on our immunizations, we do adults with no insurance, like TDAP. All adults that have babies, grandparents, if it's been more than 10 years, well, you should get a TDAP. If you're gonna be around your family. We're located in Huntsville. We were at the library once a week, but, for a year, we didn't get anyone. So we decided, our best use of the time would be back up.
We do our food plan.
Yeah,
had one
it's
with
flu
that.
season. We do offer flu shot. So we're in 2507 Lake Road. On one of the flyers we gave you, it has our address and our phone number.
If you know where the Medicaid and the CPS offices in Huntsville were in the same exact. Do you have a question? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Don't be like my husband and myself when our son Jack was born. He was put in a car seat in the car in the garage, the hospital that day we were taking him home. So definitely you need to prep yourself and let others know how important it is to install a car seat.
Oh, and they will not let you leave the hospital. If you don't know that.
Right. Thank y'all. Excellent. Okay, we're gonna move into, quickly. I always like to give a yearly recap of what we accomplished the year before. So this again will be interesting for the new members since you weren't here last year, but you'll get an overview of what all we did. And what we did last year, and we did accomplish quite a lot. So I'll try to run through these quickly. But we did meet for our 4 required meetings, and last year we had those meetings in October and November, and then February and May. And then last year, Kay Reese, Mr. Reese, who has since retired, was our school safety and security committee chair. And this year, Emily McMurray is our new chair of that committee, and she also was attending the same meeting as Dr. Hale, so she could not present her report today, but she will in November. But I'm gonna go over some of the state required safety protocols that were reviewed last year. And so all exterior doors have to remain locked, and we are continuing these protocols for this year. we discovered that it was best practice to teach behind locked doors. So all classrooms are locked. The SROs are school resource officers. They do check our interior doors daily on their rounds, so we do have an SRO on every campus. And then if you notice, parents, that there are large letters and numbers or sticky letters and numbers on the entryway to each campus or on several of the exterior door entryways. And the reason for that is that those are placed on there for emergency identification for EMS personnel if they need to get somewhere quickly. Obviously, if it's an emergency and they're called to the scene and they need quick access, someone can say, go to door H2. So you'll notice that. And also on the entryway of all of the campuses, you will see that a film has been applied to the front door, the front windows. I believe there, you know, it says has Bulldogs on there or New Waverly ISD, some type of logo. But that was placed on the front entries in an attempt to, if something were to happen, to slow down an intruder, because if you go through there, you can see that you cannot see inside. So, so that was in place. And campus drills were held at each campus, and those drills included a lockout drill, shelter in place, evacuation, severe weather, and fire. And then we also last year sent a letter out, which was required by law, detailing how to secure guns in the home. This was provided to parents and families, and it was posted on our district's website. So that was a requirement by TEA, or Texas Education Agency. All staff are required to wear ID badges. And then, as I said before, an SRO has been assigned to each campus as required by the state. So that's an overview of our safety protocols, and Ms. McMurray will go into more detail next month. Health and Safety Summit. So this is a big event that SHAC helps to sponsor. And we have this event, we alternate between the junior high and the high school campuses. Last year, it was scheduled to be at the high school campus, but I don't know if you remember, we had this big monsoon that came through New Waverly and the Houston area on the very day of the summit. And so it got canceled. So we are looking into some spring dates. We tried for the fall, but there's just too much going on in the fall semester. So we're going to try again for the spring date, and hopefully all of my speakers that had signed up for last year will agree to participate this year. So, and for those of you who don't know, the summit is, it's an annual day-long event that our students participate in. And we have speakers that are lined up. They'll go through sessions of different topics like vaping, human trafficking, CPR, just lots of different health and safety topics that actually our students are involved in telling us which topics they want to hear. So we get sort of a committee of the student council, and we get their opinions on, you know, what's of interest to them. So, and then our high school student representatives were added to SHAC last year, and student representation is required by the SHAC bylaws. And again, this, like for you guys, it allows the students the opportunity to be invested in their education when it comes to health. And it also helps, I believe it also helps to foster some leadership traits and characteristics. We have decided to have a junior and senior representative so that when the senior representative graduates, the junior representative moves up. So they essentially serve 2 years. Last year's senior representative, you guys may remember, was Callaway Edming. She has since graduated, and she's a freshman at University of Arkansas this year. Excellent student. So and so this year's senior representative is Tristan Walker, and he was our junior last year. And then our new representative for junior year is Jenna Yeager. So I'm just happy, so excited to get student into involvement in SHAC. So we also had a variety of presentations and reports from our district and community stakeholders. So again, reports from Ms. Gregory last year, Child Nutrition Services, Casey Chitwood discussed our traffic patterns and overall safety on all our campuses. Tri-County Behavioral Health Care. Provided lots of presentations for us on vaping and mental health and just all sorts of things, that's in their wheelhouse. We also had, representatives from Region 6, or otherwise known as our Education Service Center, come to speak to us. And then, of course, our DSHS, Department of State Health Services representatives from Walker County and from the Houston area. We had several from Houston travel down here to speak to our group. The other thing that we did as a SHAC group is that we reviewed 3 curriculum options on fentanyl abuse and drug poisoning awareness. And as Ms. Brock mentioned earlier, that curriculum is required for grades 6 through 12. And it is by law, it's the requirement of House Bill 3908. And after the SHAC group, after you guys reviewed the 3 curriculums that were presented to you, we voted on the curriculum presented by Stephanie Dewar, who is the mental health specialist for Region 6 and Tri-County. And her presentation included substance abuse, fentanyl use, and suicide awareness. And she gave that presentation to the junior high, I believe, and high school campuses in the second semester of 2024, which was spring. We also enacted a policy for Narcan storage and training staff, and that's based on Senate Bill 629, and that was approved by our school board in January of 2024. You guys as SHAC were not required to approve that because it was already established as law, as policy by the state. However, Ms. Brock and I wanted to bring that to y'all's attention so that you were aware of the law and what the protocols are, and what was put in district-wide. So basically, the law stated that Narcan was required to be available at minimum on campuses with grades 6 through 12. And as Ms. Brock mentioned earlier, we felt it was necessary to provide Narcan at the elementary campus. And the example that I give, which you guys have heard, some of you have heard before, is that I have a fellow nurse colleague friend in the state of Tennessee who's an elementary school nurse. And, you know, we chat from time to time and ask her, you know, what's going on in your state or in your district. And she mentioned that she had to give Narcan on her campus to a parent. And I was shocked. I said, why are you giving Narcan on an elementary campus? And she said, well, this parent pulled up in the car rider line and was out of it. And so they had to give Narcan in the car, picking up their child. So that's why we felt like, as I gave that example to the group, we felt like, well, we really should have Narcan in place on the elementary campus. So we also have it in place at the AEP or alternative campus as well. The supply of Narcan that we provide, or that I obtained from an organization, we keep in our AED cabinets. We trained at the beginning of the school year during the teacher in service, back to school in service. Myself and Joshua Slott, who's our new Waverly Fire Department chief, we came together to do a round robin session and trained all of our staff on the administration of Narcan and EpiPens or epinephrine. So we just felt real strongly that, you know, our health services, our clinic staff, we can't be everywhere all at once, and especially with a lot of after-school activities that occur, we needed to have others who were trained in giving those medications in case of an emergency. So that's one of the sort of standard kind of operating procedures that we'll go forward with, the standard training with every year. Let's see. Let me tell you where they're kept. So elementary school has one box of Narcan, and one box includes 2 inhalers. So they're nasal inhalers. You spray them up the nose. And then let's see, intermediate school has 2, junior high has 2. High school actually has 3 because we have a new what we call impact center field house. So we've added one in there as well. And then our athletic trainer also carries Narcan with her. Okay, and then our goal, as I always say every year, our goal is to increase parent recruitment and membership, and to have parents serve as the SHAC chairs preferred by the state. So, any questions on the yearly recap or anything that I left out? And then lastly, I also want to thank Ms. Brock, for serving as our district administrator, representative, for SHAC. She provides a ton of guidance for me on district and state policies, protocols, curriculum procedures. That is definitely her area of expertise, and also she provides a great support for me. So I could not do my job without her as well. So thank you, Ms. Brock. For our next meetings, in the emails that you guys receive, I always provide an attachment with the meeting schedule, so always look for that. And I would like to ask if you could go ahead and add those dates. We only have 3 more meetings. Add those dates into your calendars. And then you will get a notice from me as well, but go ahead and add those into your calendar. And then if you guys have any topics that you want us to bring forth or put on the agenda, for our future SHAC meetings, please let me know, because we'd be happy to obviously entertain any ideas as related to what we focus on. So, and then any questions about anything else? So Ms. Brock and I want to really thank you guys for taking time out of your busy schedules to come today. We really, really appreciate it. And we look forward to a great SHAC year.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you, guys.